he never minces any words. And in this special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I talked with Charleston County School District constituent school board member Tony Lewis to talk about the election of John Tecklenburg, gentrification on the east side, and the budget shortfall here at 75 Calhoun Street. Well, Tony, it's always good seeing you.
Yes, sir.
As memory states me, I appreciate that. As memory, tells me, we actually spoke on Friday.
Yes, sir.
And you called me, I guess, around 9:30 that night, and we spoke for 42 minutes.
Right.
We talked about a range of issues.
Right.
From the election of John Tecklenburg to Stony Field to the budget shortfall to really gentrification here on the east side.
Right.
Let me take you back to election night when John Tecklenburg was elected mayor of Charleston. I'm wondering, what went through your mind when you heard that John Tecklenburg was elected mayor? Because this is a change for a city who has had one mayor for 40 years.
Right. Well, I think, as I said again, I think John's going to do a great job for the citizens of Charleston. Because, but in my spirit was telling me, John is going to be the one that kind of bridges the gap between the race.
Okay.
And I saw it from day one in my spirit. So I think God put who He wants to be in the position. Because he never was a politician.
Right.
See, you have Leon Stabernakers. You had Maurice Washington, Dr. Gregory. All those guys were politicians. So, it's strange that God anointed and put that gentleman, John, in the seat.
And when we talked on Friday night, you basically said that you prophesied that John would be the next mayor.
Oh, yes, I did, because I told John that from day one, and I got wrong him that he was going to be in the mayor. I never called him John Tecklenburg. I called him Mayor John Tecklenburg. So I was prophesying, bring things to existence as I speak.
Even then?
And then, yeah.
And during his particular victory speech, he said the following, quote, "I so look forward to serving the city. I plan to roll up my sleeves and go to work for all of Charleston," unquote. All of Charleston tells you what, Tony?
Well, all of Charleston means he's going to be including everybody in his plan and his vision that God put in the spirit too. Make sure he take care of all of his citizens of Charleston.
And he later said in that particular speech, quote, "I want to be the #1 place for us to live," unquote. Tell me, how can he make that happen?
Well, including everybody in his plan again, and making sure everybody's needs are met in the city of Charleston. That will make you #1.
Yeah.
I mean, every which way that mean your law enforcement, housing, economic development, the whole 9 yards, making sure everybody's included in your plans.
And he also said this too, quote, "Ask not what Charleston can do for you, but what can you do for Charleston?" So what can residents do?
Well, residents can inform him what's going on in the city, that they need to keep it beautified. I like to see a lot of them are talking to him about making sure these dilapidated homes being repaired and painted and beautified. That's how you make Charleston beautiful.
Yeah. Speaking of which, let's talk about gentrification on the east side in one word.
Well, here's we're sitting in a property of Miss Alberta Bowden, where 48 Acre Street, and they were trying to take two of her properties from her due to tax problem, but she had time enough to go pay it, but they told her that she didn't have it. Then here our sheriff, Al Cannon, come and forcibly talk bad to her and trying to force her out of her properties. So, and so I was working with her on this project, but she had some of the other elected officials, and I'm naming them. She had Wendell Gaillard, she had Maurice Washington, Dudley Gregory, Dot Scott, and Marlon Kempson. And they all came and said they was going to help her, but never looked back. And I met her through a friend of mine, gave her my business card, and I was there from day one with her, working her, trying to help her get the situation resolved.
Another situation that's going on at 75 Calhoun is the Charleston County School District's budget shortfall. Talk to me more about that, and when you hear about that, what goes through your mind?
Well, we're misusing funds, misusing the taxpayers' dollars to our own personal use and not what the use we needed to put it to, because in no way you're going to misappropriate $18 million.
Jesus.
In no way. And all the shortfall, you have a lot of places, folks being, you have food service being shortcut, you had Head Start not getting the materials, and the young ladies who are working in Head Start not getting no kind of pay raise, so there's something wrong with that. And I've been told them that, I told them that maybe about 7 or 8 months ago about those kind of things. I said, it's sad that we put people in positions and they have 2 positions in here. I'm CAEO, and I'm CFO, and I'm the acting superintendent. I can sign up and do what I want to do. Nobody have to look into it.
Speaking of which, as you know, a couple of months ago, Jarita Postwaite became the new superintendent of Charleston County Schools. And I'm wondering, as we sit here right now, what letter grade would you give her as far as performance?
Well, I'll give I'll say this. I brought some ideas, thank God, for putting my spirit. One was doing a quarterly progress report on the school teachers and the students. And the superintendent, the board members passed it with 9 votes, and she adopted it and now it's in her schools. So that's mean we have a shortfall. Kids have a shortfall in whatever area it is. They can take it at shortfall right then and there instead of wait till the end of the school year and tell the parent your son failed math or English or whatever. No, because we're closing that gap up there.
Speaking of which, let's talk about Stony Field.
Well, Stony Field is a big issue because this field should have been taken care of a long time ago, and here it is. You have money being misappropriated again. The funds were allocated long back in 2011, but nobody never looked into doing it until it was brought to my attention through some other folks at a game, Burke and Garrett game, and they said to me that what they wanted to do. So I told them I would look into it. So I did exactly what and brought it to the light. Went and got the information from the city, and the city gave me all the information, and I put it in front of all the board members, the superintendent, all the media, and everybody's hand to bring to the light what's going on with Stony Field. Because like I said to them, you know, if there's little white brothers and sisters back there, it would look like a major college back there a long time ago. And we have our elected official who was city councilman, representative, coach, and senator. They all could have been working together, but get a brand new football field back there. Like I told them, I don't want no more patching. I don't want to repair. I want a brand new stadium back there, and I'm being forceful about that. I have the taxpayers and the constituent behind me, and the community behind me.
Well, Tony Lewis, it's always good talking to you. Thank you so much.
Pleasure,
I
brother.
appreciate it.
Yes, sir.